Hey guys, Account Second here, and this is the info video for Season 27 of the Pokemon NASCAR Series. We're going to reveal the schedule first, and then all the teams and drivers that'll be competing for a championship this season. And there are 40 cars in total. That means there are 40 drivers, obviously. And if you follow me on Facebook, you know what the schedule will have. But for those of you that don't, here is the schedule for Season 27 of the Pokemon NASCAR Series. As always, we start the schedule off with the Daytona 500 from Daytona International Speedway. And then we take us our second straight trip to the Sunshine State in Orlando. You know, Orlando is like Tiburon International Speedway where the track goes reverse, and it is a super speedway. That'll be race number 2. Race number 3 is going to be different. We're going to be heading to Atlanta Motor Speedway, and it'll follow mostly from the Sprint Cup schedule, with some exceptions, some minor changes. And then race number 4 will be the first short track of the season at Richmond International Raceway. And that race is sure to be a fun race, even though it's probably mostly going to be a wreck fest from what we've seen in the previous races at this track. And then it's on to the fast speedway, Blue Ridge Speedway. It is like a carbon copy of Michigan International Speedway, except it's under the lights and much more exciting. And then we head to the big super speedway, Talladega. Talladega is going to be early in the schedule. It's going to be the 6th race of the season, but still going to be just as fun as how we've had it in the previous seasons. And then it's on to the Monster Mile, Dover International Raceway. And it is our, I think, 4th straight running at that track, and so far it's done pretty well. And then we go to the Magic Mile, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And that too is expected to be a wreck fest as well, but still going to be an exciting race either way. And then after that, we head to Chicagoland Speedway, and that'll be a day to night race. It'll be a transitional track race where the day becomes night, and it's one of the unique features at the track we're heading to. And then we head over to Kansas Speedway, and for the first time ever, it'll be under the lights. So we're going to add another night race to the schedule, and that'll be in the Kansas Speedway. And it's up to the new 2014 version, so we'll try that. And then it's on to Rockingham Speedway in North Carolina. The Rock is back for the first of 3 straight races in the Carolinas. So that'll be really fun because after this race, it'll be the Coca-Cola 600 from Charlotte Motor Speedway. And that is going to be extremely fun, of course, the longest race of the season. And then we head over the Darlington Raceway for the Bojangles Southern 500. So both the Coca-Cola, both the Coca-Cola 600 and the Southern 500 will be run back to back. And that'll be an exciting race tandem. And then we head over to Gateway Motorsports Park, and that is transitioned to a night race. And it's still going to be a lot of fun because we're in the St. Louis Arc border. And then it's a trip to Kentucky Speedway, and it's not the new Kentucky, by the way. It is the old version of the track, but it is still the most exciting, most realistic version of the track because the other ones I have does not have any good racing. And then it's on to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The Brickyard 400 will be early in the schedule, but we'll still be racing at Indy, and someone will kiss the bricks this season. And then it's on to Homestead Miami Speedway, a new version I found recently. Hopefully that'll be more exciting than how we've had it in a banked version, and it'll be more realistic. And then we head over to Texas Motor Speedway, another night race, and the next 4 races, in fact, after Homestead are going to be night races. Or I should say 5, 5 races. And then Pokemon NASCAR goes west. We head to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The track you're seeing probably might not be the version we're going to use, and unless if I could find the version I've had before. Anyway, we head to Phoenix after this. Phoenix International Raceway. The desert sun will set on the track, and I know for a fact definitely that's going to be a night race. And then it's a trip to Auto Club Speedway to wrap up Pokemon NASCAR Goes West. And then after that, it'll be our 3-race road course tour. It starts off with Sonoma Raceway, and it'll be under the lights for the very first time. So we can't wait to race at Sonoma. and have that as a night race for the first time ever. And then it's the return to Road America. That's one of the new tracks this season. We have run at Road America occasionally in the earlier seasons, but this is the first time it's going to be on the schedule again. Hopefully, it'll stay on the schedule for seasons to come. And then it's down to the Glen, Watkins Glen International. It'll wrap up our American Road Course Tour, and it will kick off the All-Star Weekend, and that'll be in Pocono Raceway. And then it goes to the World Tour, and we see All-Star Weekend this season will be held at Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle. I'm going to give that a shot. And then World Tour 27, it kicks off in Canada at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And if you've seen the past races in this track, you know it is expected to kick off the World Tour in an exciting fashion. And then it's the weird Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada, the second straight race in the north of the border. And that'll be a bizarre race for sure. And then it's off to Belgium at Circuit des Spa-Francorchamps. And that is going to be one of the toughest road courses these drivers will have to face this season. And then it's on to Bikernieki in Latvia. And I found this track in NN Racing of all places. And it's really exciting. So I can't wait to return to this track and see how these cars will run. And then it's on to Rockingham Motor Speedway in the United Kingdom. That is the oval, and it's going to be an extremely fun race to watch at the UK. And then it's on to our dirt race at Veltins Arena in Germany. Very small, no cautions. All 40 will be entered, and that is expected to be fun for all drivers. And then it's on to Raceway Venray, the short track in the Netherlands, and it's almost like Bristol, except more banking and much more exciting. So that's going to be a fun race there. And then we head to Calder Park Raceway in Australia, the last track that goes in the opposite direction, except it is in a speedway. And then we have dual races, a doubleheader in the Suzuka Circuit in Japan. We will be using only the East course for that track, and it will decide our championship contenders, and it will have two winners off Suzuka. And then we head over to 349 in Canada to wrap up World Tour 27, and then we will have two races left on the schedule, and then we have the Super Snack 500, which will be at Coca-Cola Super Speedway, where it should belong in the first place. And finally, a champion will be crowned, as always, at Zandjoltis, possibly the greatest speedway, or super speedway, I should say, in all of Entertown 3. That's all the tracks in the schedule, and now let's reveal the drivers and teams that'll be running here in Season 27. Let's start with the one-car teams. For Circle Sport Levine Family Racing, the 95 Thriven Financial Chevy will be driven by Avi Sachs, and he was one of the last second additions to the season once again, but he has run in Season 2, and he's now back with his brand new team, the one-car team of Circle Sport Levine. Next up, it's JTG Daughtry Racing, and they have Kyle Collins in the wheel of the 47 Chevy. They'll sponsor Bush's Grilling Beans for this season in a new black paint scheme. Collins, a veteran in the series, he has made his return. Hopefully he can lead the team to a couple victories and maybe a championship. Next up is Tommy Baldwin Racing, and they have William Brock driving the Chevy number 7 for Advance Auto Parts. They'll be sponsoring the team this season in a new sleek car for William Brock. He returns last season in the same team. He actually won a race for them at the Glen in Season 26. And he's back to do just the same, if not better. Next is Germain Racing, and their 13 machine will be driven by Chandler Caudill, a rookie, in the Geico Chevy. So we have a new face in the number 13, and you'll be seeing a couple rookies here in Season 27 as we progress through the driver field. But Caudill is going to make his debut for Germain in the number 13. And then we have the Wood Brothers 21, and this season it'll be driven by Cody Smart. The Ford Motorcraft machine will be driven by former Daytona 500 winner Cody Smart. A brand new team for him, and he's racing with the Wood Brothers. So the Wood Brothers have had success with a couple wins in the past couple seasons, they look to repeat that, maybe even a championship this year. And now we have Premium Motorsports, and you know the Walkers will be running both their cars. Luke's going to ride the 55, and Leia's going to ride the 98. Luke's going to have an unsponsored version of the 55, but I couldn't find a picture of that. And Leia Walker will also run unsponsored in the number 98. Next up is Team Penske. And Pichu will be returning in the number 12 after a successful 2-win season at that car, along with new drivers Amari Stoudemire Jr. and Jared Lewis. Stoudemire, former Hedrick driver, now into Penske. And Jared Lewis is back in his signature 22, so Lewis returns after being a couple seasons off that 22, his signature number, and Stoudemire looks to compete again. Next up is Chip Ganassi Racing, and they have Paul Barber in the number 1, and rookie Sidney Orchard running in the number 42. And the 42 will run Energizer, the 1 will ride Bad Boy Off-Road as their main paint scheme this season. And if you noticed, the Penske will run Detroit Auto Parts, AAA, and Worth for their sponsors. RCR is next. Ethan James, one of the rookies, is running in the number 3. And Joshua Sirculli and Sam Rogers will both be returning from last season their same rides. Sirculli will run Moen as his sponsor, and Sam Rogers is going with Whelan to drive his 31 machine. Next is H. Scott Motorsports. Josh Crash is back in the 15 after taking last season off. He'll be running 5-Hour Energy Knoxville Nationals as a sponsor. And rookie Ahmad Setyawan in the number 46 running Allstate Peterbilt as his sponsor to make his debut in the Pokemon NASCAR Series. Next up is the wildly successful BK Racing, and the number 23 will be sponsored by USA, and that'll be driven by Joseph Romanuk. And Angel Navarro is back again in the number 83, running the US sponsorship in his wheel for the team this season. Next up, it is Front Row Motorsports, and the 34 will be driven by Elijah Gordon running CSX supporting the military. Nice car, by the way. And Kev Shearer returns to the team in the number 38. This season, he'll have sponsorship from Taco Bell, so he's got big sponsorship in his car this season. Same goes for Elijah Gordon, and Front Row looks to have another successful season under their belt in the Pokemon NASCAR Series. Next up, Richard Petty Motorsports. John Andrews returns in the 43, running U.S. Air Force, and Zachary Fitzwater, the Australian driver, is back for the team as well, and he'll run Goodies in the number 44 for the team again. So these two are back for Petty and look to be just as successful as they were in the previous seasons. Next up is Furniture Row Racing, and the 77 will have Furniture Row as its sponsor. Anthony Lopez will be driving that machine, and Auto Owners will sponsor the 78, and that'll be driven by legend Jacob Lawler. So Lawler and Sachs back again, looking for one of those two to win a championship finally in the series. They've been there for a very long time. Now on to the big teams. Joe Gibbs Racing has Mitchell Carter in the 11, Cullen Francis, a rookie, in the 18, Dylan Thoreau in the 19, and Kermika Jasden, former champion, returns to the series in the number 20. Sport Clips, Pedigree, Aris Surfboard, and Dollar General will sponsor the Joe Gibbs team this season. Next is Hedrick Motorsports, and Johnny Gardner will be in the 5 machine for Mountain Dew Pitch Black. John Arnott returns in the 24, reunites with Hedrick in that number with Napa. Jay Jefferson returns to the series as well in the Lowe's paint scheme, and Cody Ballard will run University of Michigan / Exalta in the 88. Next is Stuart Haas Racing. Annie Thomas returns with the number 4 for Jimmy Johns. Joseph Lombard and 2SC4 are one of the headliners this season, running the 10 for Tax Act. DJ Curtis will run the 14 for Haas, and Ryan Casey will also be running Haas / Monster Energy in the number 41. And last but not least, Roush Fenway Racing. I saved this for last because Grayson Acevedo is the defending champion, of course, returning in the 17. He has Emmanuel Harnett in the number 6 and Ryan Acosta in the 16 as teammates. And that's your field for season 27 of the Pokemon NASCAR Series. Now, I'd like to bring out one more thing before we end this video. All right, this has been a problem in a couple races last season and even revoked somewhat of a championship for those of you that didn't know. I won't go into detail about that, but I just want to point out no spoilers are allowed on any race this season. If any driver spoils a single race, that driver will lose out his or her ride for the rest of the season. I have plenty of other drivers on the wait list that are willing to take someone's place if someone does spoil, but I want to be very clear, no spoilers are allowed on any race this season. I know some of you hate it, some of you praise the rule, but I'm going to keep the rule because it is my own series and I want every driver to watch the races without being spoiled on who wins it. So I will not allow any spoilers on any race at all. Do not say who the winner is in each race or in any race in general. Otherwise, you will lose your ride for the rest of the season. It is zero tolerance. I will have zero tolerance on any spoilers, and I will penalize drivers for spoiling races, as I have a wait list of other drivers that want to compete this season but can't because they missed signups. So no spoilers on any race, and I will read the comments to check if there's any spoilers, and I will penalize the drivers that spoil any race. I just want to be very, very clear on that. Other than that, though, that's all for the info video, and I wish good luck to every driver this season. Hopefully we don't get any spoiler trouble like we did last season. And so we will see you guys at our first race at Daytona. And this is the account second here, and I will see you guys at our next race.